So, we really need to start being more conscious of who we are voting for, people. You know, I'm new to the game. I never really cared deeply about politics. I voted for Obama. You know, I was younger. It was a long time ago. And I was a part of the pack. I wanted a black man to get in there, you know? He kept saying, yes, we can. But as time has gone on and I've gotten older, I got gray hairs in my beard, I'm starting to see that we have elected turncoats in our parties. Jeff Flake comes to mind. Jeff Flake is a flake, a scumbag, a spineless jellyfish, and his antics have once again shown that. He is the living John McCain, a person who puts his own political ambitions and future ahead of the country, ahead of his constituents, and ahead of his party. And that really is sad. We've come a long way in this Brett Kavanaugh hearing. We've come a long way in the last 48 hours. I watched the entire hearing yesterday with Christine Blasey Ford and Brett Kavanaugh. Let me just say this. When Ms. Ford came out and spoke, I'm not going to say what everyone else says. This is my YouTube channel. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. I didn't believe her. She came off to me, she came across as a person who was very manipulative and extremely artificial. It seemed like she was smarter than the rest of the senators in the room, because they were afraid to ask her questions because they, of course, were old white men. So they fell for the identity politics of the left and allowed her to play her scam game. The game goes like this. I'm afraid and don't want to be here. And when he touched me, I remember his eyeballs looking at me. Are you serious? The woman irritated me beyond belief. The fake voice, the fake artificial cry, speaking every other word was like some, I'm talking like this. But no tears, no tissues. She needed some caffeine. I guess that caffeine helped her appear like she was a little bit more sad. But it was a sad situation for me. I cringed for about 2.5 hours during her whole testimony. To me, I felt like it was the biggest sham listening to this woman. And I know politicians can't say that. I'm not a politician. I'm just an American. Drinking a little rum tonight. It's one of those nights. It's a nice weekend. But, yeah, Christine Blasey Ford came across to me as an extremely fake person who had very foggy memories of recent events. She lied to the committee and said that she was afraid to fly when she was challenged on that. Found out she had flown all over the world. I mean, recently. She was flying everywhere. Vacations, Hawaii, you name it, she's on a plane. And then she ended up having to admit that she'd rather not fly, which makes the whole thing a little fishy to me. Be honest, you're talking to the Senate. So, when she got done with her little testimony, I was watching the news, you know, switching back and forth. CNN was, this woman is totally credible. Brett Kavanaugh's fucked. I mean, I was listening to these people. Even Fox News was saying, you know, this woman's really credible. Her story sounds true. She seems to really believe it. I can tell you right now, last night, I was molested by a flower. One of the petals fell off. It's still in my pocket. It was, I don't like to think about it anymore. People say things. You can say things in a certain way, and you can rehearse. You know, this woman was rehearsed. Her ass was rehearsing to get this thing right. But she had no corroborating evidence. She couldn't say where this happened. She gave a landmark, which was nowhere near Brett Kavanaugh's home or the home of his friends. She somehow got there. Doesn't remember how she got there. Then claims to have had one beer there. So the foggy memory happens after you clear-headedly arrive and have a beer, but it fogs out your recollection of getting there. You have one beer in this party, which has a plethora of people. No music in the whole house. Only place that has music is a bedroom. strange. Very strange. You're downstairs, you're looking. I hear some music. Where's the music at? Upstairs? Why? Doesn't make any sense to me. Okay? Then Christine Blasey Ford finds herself going up the stairs for no reason. She didn't say why she was going up. I'm just walking up the stairs. And then all of a sudden, Britt pushed me. Come on, man. Come on, son. She gets pushed by her back into some bedroom. She turns around, Brett's there, and Mark Judge is there. Brett's pushing her down the bed. Shh. Let me take off your clothes. Shh. Trying to take her clothes off. She's trying to scream no. Brett covers her mouth. And I'm not... Look, the Me Too movement, I applaud you women who've been through shit, and you come out and you tell the truth and you exploit. You show who did it. And you put that information out there, and a person gets the justice they deserve. Because I'm telling you now, a man who does that to a woman deserves the fucking justice that he gets. You don't fuck with innocence. You don't hurt a person. You don't do irreparable damage to a person's psyche that could last and linger for them for years to come. You don't do that shit. Okay? The Me Too movement, seeing what happened with Hollywood and what's his face, Weinstein, and all these news anchors who've been doing this for years. Yeah, get these guys. Don't just out them. They need to be prosecuted. Unfortunately, I haven't heard any prosecution. So, way to go, Me Too. But Brett Kavanaugh supposedly trying to molest this girl. Then his friend jumps on the bed, knocks Brett off of her, and then she jumps up and runs across the hall to the bathroom, closes the door. She didn't leave the room and run out of the house. She runs across the hall into a house she's never been before, and she closes the door and locks it. Then they come out, they're laughing, and as she says, ping-ponging down the hall, down the stairs. Then she comes down the stairs and leaves. She doesn't remember anything past that. I guess she walked out of the house and just teleported home. Doesn't remember getting a ride. She said she got a ride. She can't remember the drive or anything. That beer must have been spiked with some absinthe or something. I don't know what's going on. But the story is fishy as hell. 4 people who she claims were her corroborating witnesses all refuted her claims. It's like walking into the dining room and saying, I just had dinner, and then my wife saying, babe, dinner's done. They completely refuted her claims. Her best friend said she doesn't recall ever being at a party with Brett Kavanaugh. She doesn't think she's ever met him before. This is a person that Christine Blasey Ford said was at the party. Very strange. Mark Judge said he's never heard of Brett Kavanaugh ever acting in that way. Very strange. There's no corroborating evidence. The traditional judicial system would say, this is not going to go any further. This guy's got calendars. Okay, he's got evidence to show where he was. This guy's very organized. We're just going to continue on. You going about your business. We think maybe you've made a mistake. But no, not when the Democrats, the most evil party in American history, have something to do with it. They say there's no corroborating evidence. We need an FBI investigation. And not only that, Brett Kavanaugh, you need to ask for the FBI investigation into yourself, because that's the American way. Hey, you robbed a bank. No, I didn't. FBI, I need your help. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Okay? Despicable the way these people treated Brett Kavanaugh. I was driving home. I texted my wife. I said, Brett Kavanaugh is getting ready to have his opening statement. 15 minutes later, I'm driving on 75 and I had tears in my eyes. Probably the same amount of tears that Brett had. And we have the same name. And I'm looking at this guy. I'm listening to what he's saying. What's happened to his life in the last 10 days, 11 days. how his name has been dragged through the mud, how baseless allegations have been breathlessly reported on the mainstream news, how news anchors are all slandering him, calling him a sexual predator, and saying he's, committed sexual assault. And you got fools like Cory Booker saying that this man's evil and anyone who supports him is abetting evil. These are the leaders you people are electing? Who in their right mind would elect a person who'd ever say something like that when there's no corroborating evidence of him doing anything wrong? I believe Miss Ford. You don't know anything about this fucking situation. How can you say that? You can't be an objective thinker if you only believe someone based on party line. You can't. Kamala Harris, I believe her. Why? Oh, I forgot. This is the new America. All women tell the truth. Men, fucking dogs. Oh, are you saying that he didn't? Sir, come here. Hands up. Hands behind your back. You're going to jail. That's the America these idiots wants to live in. And that's not due process. That is not the presumption of innocence. Who is egging these people on when they see this? Who's insane out there? I went to Kamala Harris's Twitter today. She stormed out of the hearing. She didn't want to hear what was going on. Everybody was just so proud of her. You're so brave. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Cory Booker stands up there and sits there and filibusters for 20 minutes, looking like a damn yellow chameleon, and then has the nerve to say, I can't stay here for this. I just got a text from Kamala Harris asking me when am I going to come to Starbucks. Who's voting for these people? These are supposed to be your leaders. And poor Jeff Flake. I'll get to Flake in a second. But my point is, watching this hearing yesterday, listening to Christine Blasey Ford, who to me, I'm not saying that I am right. I'm saying I have an opinion, and it could be wrong, came across as a very artificial, well put together, disposable play to move forward a political agenda. The agenda, of course, Democrats don't want to say it. Well, they did say it. It's to postpone the hearing and to stop Donald Trump. Anything that Trump wants to do. Because Trump is tearing up Washington. He's tearing up the status quo. He's destroying these little backdoor deals. These scummy politicians have been benefiting off of the backs of Americans for years. Ask Maxine Waters how much her house costs. Ask Nancy Pelosi how much her home costs. Why is she worth all these millions of dollars? Because these people are fucking scum. And the Republicans are too. Just so you know. They are too. We need to put people in positions of authority who won't game the system, who stand for the Constitution, and who stand for bettering the American people, making our homes safer, making our lives better, making our jobs pay us more. That's what I stand for. But anyway, Cory Booker, Kamala Harris walk out. Things are starting to finally move along. You see Chuck Grassley sitting there playing with his jaw. He gets up, walks back out, comes back in, and then here comes Jeff Flake. Jeff Flake recently was, earlier in the day, he made a post saying that he would support the nomination of Brett Kavanaugh because, due process, and there's no corroborating evidence to say the guy did anything wrong. He walks past Chuck Grassley and whispers in his ear, I'd like to say something, please. Chuck Grassley, I know his heart probably dropped out of his chest when he heard Flake say that. And he said, point of order, I'll let Flake say something before we take our vote. Flake then goes into a quick diatribe about how important it is to reach across the aisle, even though the other side of the aisle hasn't done anything to reach across to us. They haven't given Brett Kavanaugh the time of fucking day. They said he was guilty before they had any evidence, and then when there was no evidence that could be brought, they still said he was guilty. They said they wouldn't confirm him before they knew who the hell he was. These are the kind of people that he's trying to reach across and help. Jeff Flake is gone. Arizona's got to be a really, really sad state right now. The people who voted for him, who listened to him during his campaign and thought that he was going to be a real Republican, they got a John McCain Republican. Sorry, I'm not the media. And I'm not as old as a lot of people, pundits. My recollection of John McCain is more bad than good because I didn't follow politics until maybe 2008. But from what I've seen, the guy's been an obstructionist. He's been a turncoat. He's been someone who wanted to hurt our administration and stop Donald Trump's agenda, which I think is the greatest president of my lifetime. So, Jeff Flake says, we're going to, I'd like to allow the FBI to look at Brett Kavanaugh for a week. Which, of course, to Brett Kavanaugh will be like a million years because every single day there's going to be 3 or 4 new allegations claiming that he is secretly Freddy Krueger when he goes to sleep and he kills children in their bed. And that's really where shaken baby syndrome comes from. Now we found out. I mean, the Democrats aren't going to give Brett Kavanaugh the time of day. They've already came out and said that even if there's nothing found, he's still not worthy of a seat. So what's the point, Jeff? What's the point in giving them this? Other than to cement your legacy as a turncoat scumbag. That's all you've done. All they want to do now is obstruct and resist. That's all they do. That's all they want to do. So now Christine Blasey Ford's attorney has come out and said, we're very happy with Jeff Flake's decision to help and recross the aisle was an FBI investigation. But we believe there shouldn't be any arbitrary time limit and there shouldn't be any limit in scope. So basically you want Bob Mueller again, but you want Bob Mueller to look at him now? Thanks, Flake. Gotta drink some rum. But the good thing is, Christine Blasey Ford's attorneys don't control this process, and neither do these ridiculous Democrats who couldn't give a damn about you as an American citizen. Roe versus Wade is an important thing, but I don't think it's about Roe versus Wade. These people have tried to obstruct Donald Trump in every decision he's made. Everything that he's promised, he's tried to do. I'll give him that much credit. He might be on Twitter, he might say things that, create ruckus. He might be abrasive in the way that he exchanges information, but the man is an honest man. The things he said to us, I don't give a damn what he said to people in his private life or what he does behind closed doors. But what he said to me as an American citizen, he's tried to do. Everything he's tried to do, the Democrats are trying to obstruct and resist. Even Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, obstruct and resist. That's what we're supposed to do now. Not uplift and rebuild. No. Obstruct and resist. That's what Democrats do. So they want to make it about Roe versus Wade, which is an important Democratic platform. But when you look at the fact that Christine Blasey Ford has written 8 books on abortion, right? It kind of makes you wonder, is she an activist? She's already been seen at anti-Trump rallies, right? This is another Democratic coup, Democratic operation. I believe that if the FBI do a true investigation, she'll be found to be a liar. But of course, this is a nebulous allegation. She lived in the area. She went to a different school. She didn't hang with Brett Kavanaugh. So it's really something that they can't prove. Her friends have already validated the fact that she's lying. So what's going to happen? There's going to be, in a week, 3 more accusations against Brett Kavanaugh. That he was cutting the heads off of cats and making sweet tea with the blood. Something crazy. Anal raping is going to be insane because it's already gotten insane. Look at Miss Swetnick, Julie Swetnick, who was a college student going to high school parties, went to 10 of them, where the theme was, what is it? Was it roofies? No, it wasn't roofies. Drugging victims, getting them drunk, and running trains on them with boys lined up down the hall. Now, she's seen these lines, right? 10 parties, 10 lines. But out of all those lines, she only remembers Brett Kavanaugh and Mark Judge. Kind of confusing. Doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Knuckle Avenatti, I think his legacy is he's going to end up in prison somewhere. He already owes over $1 million in debt. It wasn't 10. These people are scumbags. So we'll see what happens here. We've got to be more vigilant in who we elect as our leaders, and we have to hold these people accountable. Stacey Abrams is running as a Democrat here in Atlanta, Georgia. Fat chance, lady. Kemp is going to demolish you. We cannot allow any of these states, counties to go blue. We need to go completely red across this country to show Donald Trump that we support him, and to show these obstructionists, these anti-American, open borders, big government control your life, liberals, socialists, that we don't want to be Venezuela. We don't want a police state. We want to be able to have our guns. We want our freedom of speech. We want our freedom to worship. We want our freedom to protest, and not just paid protests by Soros either. We want America. And Donald Trump is bringing America back to us in grand fashion. This is the greatest president of our lifetime. I don't care if you don't understand it, don't know, you don't feel it. I think by the end of his time, in 6 years, everyone who's alive in America will know. This is a great man. He's doing great things for our country. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's all I got for you. Remember, give a thumbs up, guys, if you liked the video. If you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing. And remember, we do this for the Republic.